Hi, I'm Christina. Welcome to episode 1, season 2 of Women's Health, Wealth, and Happiness Interviews to Inspire. Today's unique episode is a documentary style episode featuring my mother, Dr. Nela Abalon Vidovich, here in her hometown in San Roque, northern Samar in the Philippines. Take a look at that on the map. And this is a unique look into her experiences here in this town and her experiences in regards to wealth. Enjoy the episode. So we're in San Roque, and to bring this back to the episodes of health, wealth, and happiness, one of the things that is always striking to someone who's not used to this environment is the wealth, the lack thereof financially, but a different kind of wealth. I remember being told that our wealth is our children. So how many families have 6, 7, 8 or more children? We met somebody the other day who had 11 children. The wealth is their happiness. There's a different attitude because they're living hand to mouth here. There's not an opportunity for industry or jobs. Oftentimes people have to leave their towns to move to the city of Manila and go out of country to help provide for their families here. When you come back from the States to here, you've been living abroad for 60-ish years now. And this will always be your home, I know. But what do you see when you look at the wealth in terms of your opportunities and what you see today?
What I see today is the people who are rich are still rich. They don't give a damn about the poor people. The poor people work for them, but they don't try to help them. So it makes me feel sad to come in this day and age of 2024 when the rich think they are kings and queens and want to be treated that way. We don't think that the people who work for them, which they call servants, also have a heart and mind. But according to my mother, when I was growing up, they are poor people. They work for the rich people because they have nothing. But I noticed that the rich people treat them like slaves. Well, they are not slaves. They're human beings. But here, they don't care. It's only money that talks here. If you have money, fine. If you don't have money, my mother said to me when I was little, the poor people work for the rich people. Think about it and say, if you were poor and be treated badly by the person that you're working for, would you want it? No, you wouldn't. So always treat the servants nice because they're human beings. They also have a heart. They also have a mind, except that they are just born poor because they were born, families that's it. It's generation after generation. And the poor people here, they work for the big landowners. And in the old days, like some landowners, like my father, were more, he understood what it is to be poor because he grew up poor. And he decided one day, I want to be a rich person. And he did. He was very successful. But he was also kind. My mother was born poor, and she was always kind. If somebody comes to the house, the first thing she would ask is, did you eat? If you haven't eaten, come on, let's get to the kitchen. Hey, feed this person. And that was it. The people were happy. They were nice. They think my parents were wonderful people. My sisters is still carrying the tradition of feeding, people, even you know, even the poor people that knock on the door. Yeah.
You grew up privileged. You grew up in not only this house, you had other houses, family houses, your family was in politics. You were fortunate, when I think about it, you know, to be 8 years old, to be having piano lessons, to be able to go to schools, go to private schools, go to the cities, to be able to go to have proper education, end up, you know, in the second largest city in the Philippines, in Cebu, to have your high school and your college and your medical school education. What an opportunity, where I know and you know there are still kids today who don't even have but a second grade education. They'll go to school, and then after that they either can't afford the uniforms, they can't afford to get to school for some reason, they have to work at home, they have caretaking, they might have brothers and sisters that they have to take care of. I mean, it's amazing to me, you know, that see the difference in the poverty. Again, you had an amazing opportunity in your life, and I know you've made the best of it as well.
Well, my mother was born poor, and she instilled in me that, you know, you have to treat people like you want to be treated. And I always think about it. You know, don't be uppity just because you have money. You know, treat people the way, even the household help, you have to treat them. Because I think I have said already that, think about it, exchange place with the household help, even just for one day, see if you like it. You're privileged, but, you know, you also know how to work. So in the morning, when you get out of bed, fix your bed. Don't let anybody do it. When you come home from wherever, put your shoes in a place so when you know where to find it. Don't ask for help, because my mother had instructed the household help, or we call servants in the Philippines, is that don't look for it. That's their job. That is her, you know, that's her shoes. You have other work to do. The same thing when we come home from school, you hang your uniform. And if you leave it on the floor, nobody picks it up. And it's not going to be washed because you just wore it this today. It will be like washed 2 days later. So if it's wrinkled, it's wrinkled. So what? You go to school with a wrinkled uniform, and you know what it is with kids. They laugh at you because you're wearing a wrinkled blouse and a wrinkled skirt. So that was the rule in the house. Our servants, what you call the household help, you know, like they eat exactly the same food that we eat, except we don't eat together, of course, because my mother always made sure that the extra food you know, they work for rich people so they can eat what they eat. Rich people are eating, and when it's time to rest, leave them alone at night. You know, after they're done with their chores, nobody wakes them up. They want to sit down or watch television. Later on, when there was television, when I was going to medical school, they can watch television. Doesn't matter. No, go ahead. I mean, you know, she would not complain as long as all the chores had been done. That was it. Finished. And see, we are, in the Philippines, is a matriarchal society. So there's the father and the mother. The father directs everything, but the mother has the last word. There's no two ways about it. If you have a problem, you go to your mother, and she'll tell your father whatever, and then you can talk to your father, but the last word is mama. And that's it. And I know when my mother died, I was only 58 years old, and I was still in medical school. And I know how lonesome my father was for years. You know, I know it must be awful. You know, I don't think he would ever remarry or anything because he knows better. You know, I don't think even women would offer to him whatever. No, because he loved my mother very much. And then he was born in 1932. Oscar was 1937, and Manuel was 39, and then me 42 and 44. Between him and him, there were two children that were born, and one was a girl. She lived up to 6 months old. She had, I think, congenital heart defect. And then a boy, my mother said, among her children, he was the most handsomest child, and died from dehydration, gastroenteritis. But you have to remember, he was born in 1934, I guess. And in those days, no IV fluids, so you die from dehydration. Those things comes only during the town fiesta with the people, and with him. Sit here.
So it's been 8 years since our last trip here, and I noticed there has been a lot of progress. Every time we come back, we usually come back every 2 years, there's always so much progress, so shockingly, in just little ways. Like, for example, us getting pizza, getting boba tea, things like that. They didn't exist here 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I am thinking, even there's a little franchise chicken outfit that's here now, and there's more stores and more, little restaurants than there were before. And always, you can hear, if you're listening to all the traffic that's going by. But there's always sights and sounds around town that are different than the previous time. And even the highway has expanded. It's fascinating to see the differences.
I remember when I was very young, in the 50s, even into the 60s, the roads were made of just big stones. Then the Australian government came to this country and decided to pave the road with cement. The Japanese also did that, but in certain part of the province of Samar. But in the northern Samar, the Australians, they did not trust the Filipinos contractor or anything. They had their own inspectors, and the Filipinos worked, but their inspectors and contractors were Australians. That's why the northern Samar had better roads than the rest of the island, because the Australian would not tolerate any, they have to inspect, and if it's not right, they have to do it again. Here in the Philippines, the engineers, there's a budget. Half of the budget goes to his pocket. The other half is for the work, whatever it thinks to be done, the project. Yep, that's the Filipino way. They already have salary, but still they want more money, and so the engineers, that's why they change every so often, because the best beautiful houses are by the provincial engineer who is in charge of building roads.
Some people who know, some people who don't know, that is part of the progress in the Philippines. The government has money, the federal government has money that gets passed out, but it doesn't always get trickled down all the where it should be.
That's right. That's
All
right.
along. It's, it is unfortunate that it is that way, but in little ways there still is other progress.
Yeah. When my father he was, the town mayor. This town of San Roque was, when it became a town, of course they appointed a mayor. It was, I think, for 4 years. And then after that, there was an election. My father ran for mayor. My father never took his salary. What he did with his salary, he divided it for the policemen. Divided it among the policemen. He said, I don't need money. I have lots of money. These poor people are, working hard and it's meager salary. So give it to them. And that's what he did. He was, I think he was elected twice because in those days you only have 2 terms and that's it. And the poor Filipinos didn't think about what is going on. People like in a small town like here in San Roque, they don't think about the government. As long as when they go to vote, they have the money, that's it. They don't care how the town is run because they don't care. But it's the educated people are the ones who care about how the town is run. But they're a minority and you cannot complain. You cannot complain. As long as they are given money during election, they don't care. Because they don't really know what a republic and a democracy government is like.
And again, the difficulty in getting into politics, just like the United States, is money. If you don't have money, if you're not some form, whether it's a peso millionaire or US dollar millionaire, it's difficult to get in to change anything. And that's, unfortunately becoming even worldwide in lack of progress and lack of, the people down at the bottom always getting, the help they need, so to speak. That's unfortunate. Both of your parents, my Lola and Lolo, were mestiza, mixed Spanish and Filipino blood from both sides. And one of the things that is a source of pride is San Roque in itself. Much of the land he ended up able to acquire, making money, working hard. And even today, the high school is land that once was his, that
family donated. Yeah, the family donated that land there. There used to be, I think it was rice field or something. And it was donated, after he died, it was donated. He asked the mayor, at that time is my brother-in-law, Ramon Lobos. He was the mayor here, and he asked if we could donate the land to build a high school. And Ramon said, yes, we'll ask the family, but the high school has to be named after Juan F. Abalon High School. That was the thing, because he owned that land. So they agreed. The Bureau of Education agreed. Said, okay, we need the land. Nobody else has a property that can donate to for the high school. Yeah. So
yeah,
and we're proud. We're proud to have his name there.
In your mind, what would you like to see next in its small progress, even if it's small progress? By the next time you return to San Roque, be it next year, be it 2 years, be it 5 years from now, what would you hope to see in the progress?
Like here in San Roque, I think the governing body in San Roque should be more interested in making San Roque progressive, and so that, maybe what they can do, just be progressive, so that, there will be people that have a little bit more money in their pocket rather than elsewhere. That's what I would like. But it will be a miracle if it happens. And I don't care if they get upset. It will be a miracle if it happens. Because it's human nature. Unless you back the system. But how many people will back the system?
What is your final takeaway from this trip, as we've spent the last 3 weeks here and soon we'll be boarding our flight in Manila?
Well, I see, like there's progress. Like I like the roads, they're better now. And, lots of people who, they have like stores where you can buy, Yeah. And I think a lot of people are also, have found jobs working for some people. And people owning cars, and tricycles and all that. And I think some people are trying to raise their standard of living too. I mean, that's what I notice.
It's a lot bigger houses now than
Yeah,
they were before.
bigger houses. The only thing my complaint is this brownout thing. Something has to be done about it. But you're at the mercy of the electric company. So, and I always said, when somebody complain about the brownouts, buy yourself a personal generator and stop complaining.
For those who don't know, a brownout is what we would call a blackout in the United States, when the electricity is off. Be it for 1 minute, be it for several hours, they actually have them scheduled sometimes as well. Thank you for this bit of an interview here in San Roque. I hope all of the viewers and listeners have enjoyed hearing this slice of life from another part of the world, depending where you are, the other side, up north, over east, over west. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for joining us today on this episode of Women's Health, Wealth, and Happiness, Interviews to Inspire. I'm Christina. Until next time.
Okay, goodbye.
If you enjoyed this documentary style interview, please let me know. Send me a message, send me in the comments. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social medias. Let your friends know, especially on our YouTube channel. There's so much more that's going to be coming during season 2. We'll let you know.